last year. The lack of energy is something that you talked about at certain points of the season, and y'all eventually climbed out of that. You're obviously not playing, but what, as coach, is something that you can do to instill the energy in your guys?
Um, Bed check, see what time they go to sleep. I'm just joking. No, I think we've talked about it. You can ask them. We've talked about this slow start in the
Jason Kidd just did something nobody saw coming. He called out LeBron James, and this time it wasn't subtle. After LeBron's latest excuse went viral across social media, Kidd didn't hold back. He questioned the Kings' leadership, his accountability, and whether the excuses are finally catching up to him. This isn't just another coach throwing shade. This is a Hall of Famer who's seen it all, and he's not buying what LeBron's selling anymore. What did LeBron say, and why did Kidd feel the need to respond? Let's break it all down.
I just asked you a question.
and I'm giving you a answer. Like you guys, there's all right to write positive stuff. People will read your positive. You don't always have to be negative, right? Like it's just the world's already negative enough, right? So let's see some positive stuff on some positive people that are playing, doing their job on a nightly basis.
Making it a lot easier to do that this year.
Well, we're only into this year.
It started with a loss. Another game where expectations weren't met, and the cameras turned to LeBron James for answers. And like clockwork, LeBron had an explanation ready. This time, it was about the schedule, the back-to-backs, the lack of rest, the way the league sets up games. Basically, everything except what happened on the court. Now look, LeBron's not wrong about the grind. The NBA schedule is brutal. 82 games, constant travel, minimal recovery time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But here's the thing, everyone deals with it. Every team faces the same challenges. So when LeBron stands at that podium and points to the schedule as the reason for a loss, people notice. And this time, they noticed loud. Social media exploded within minutes. Twitter was on fire with takes from every angle. Some fans defended him, saying he's just being honest about the realities of professional basketball. Others, they were exhausted. The comments ranged from, "Here we go again," to, "At what point do we stop making excuses for the so-called GOAT?" The viral moment wasn't just about what LeBron said, it was about the pattern. This wasn't the first time. Over the past few seasons, there's been a growing list of post-game explanations that fans have started to keep track of. The age excuse, the supporting cast excuse, the injury excuse, the coaching excuse, and now the schedule excuse. But this time was different. This time, someone with serious credibility decided to speak up, and that someone was Jason Kidd.
Really? What else has happened this year?
Just a lot of injuries,
Yeah.
a lot of injuries. But I just felt, we were going to stay around 11. If not, go backwards, just the way that things were going for us this year. But incredible to get number one. Everyone's excited. The organization, the city, the Mavs fans, and also the head coach. So we're really excited about being number one.
Planning on keeping the pick and take.
Jason Kidd isn't known for stirring the pot. He's not a hot take artist. He's not chasing headlines or trying to stay relevant. He's a 10-time NBA All-Star, a champion, and one of the greatest point guards to ever play the game. When he speaks, it carries weight. And in early January 2025, he spoke. During a press conference that was supposed to be routine, Kidd was asked about leadership in today's NBA. The question seemed innocent enough, but Kidd's answer, it was pointed. He didn't mention LeBron by name at first, but everyone in that room knew exactly who he was talking about. Kidd said, "Great players don't make excuses, they make adjustments. When you're at the top, when you're the guy everyone looks to, you set the tone. And that tone can't be about what went wrong externally. It has to be about what you're going to do differently. The best leaders I played with, the best leaders I coached, they owned every moment, win or lose." The room went silent. Reporters looked at each other. Someone asked the follow-up. Are you referring to anyone specifically? Kid smiled, but didn't back down. I think fans are smart. They see patterns. They hear the same explanations over and over. At some point, you have to ask yourself, is this accountability or is this deflection? Boom. There it was. Jason Kidd, without saying LeBron's name, just called out the king of basketball, and the internet lost its mind. Within hours, every sports outlet was running the story. Jason Kidd takes shot at LeBron James. Hall of Famer questioning LeBron's leadership. Kidd versus LeBron, the debate nobody expected. But why does this matter so much? Because Kidd isn't some random analyst with an agenda. He's been where LeBron is. He's led teams. He's faced criticism. He's dealt with losing seasons and championship pressure. He knows what it takes to be great, and if he's saying LeBron's approach is problematic, that's not noise. That's a legitimate critique from someone who's earned the right to say it.
Hand by hand, like, all right, come on, we're going to the gym, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're going to go as a team, we go eat, we're going here to do this. Like he's so very. I mean, obviously, it's easier for the better players to do it, but for my existence, Jordan didn't do it, Kobe didn't do it. A lot of players that quote unquote have that quote unquote killer mentality aren't that type of person to do it. And he doesn't. I wouldn't say.
Here's where things get uncomfortable for LeBron fans. Because when you start looking back at the last few years, a pattern emerges, and it's not a good one. Let's rewind. In 2023, after a disappointing playoff exit, LeBron talked about how his supporting cast wasn't championship caliber. He wasn't wrong, but the way it was framed felt like he was distancing himself from the loss. Fast forward to 2024, and there were comments about coaching decisions, about how certain plays weren't being run, about how the team didn't have enough shooting. Again, valid points, but always framed as external factors. And now, in 2025, it's the schedule, the back-to-backs, the travel, the wear and tear. All real issues, sure, but when do we hear LeBron say, "I didn't play well enough, I missed key shots, I made mistakes that cost us the game"? Compare that to other all-time greats. Michael Jordan famously took responsibility for losses, even when his teammates struggled. Kobe Bryant would dissect his own performance ruthlessly in post-game interviews. Tim Duncan barely said anything, but when he did, it was always about what he could do better. These guys owned their moments, good and bad. Now, to be fair, LeBron has taken accountability at times. There are games where he said he didn't deliver, but those moments feel rare compared to the explanations, and fans are starting to notice the difference. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Leadership isn't just about being the best player, it's about setting a culture. And when the leader consistently points to external reasons for failure, it creates a mindset where the team looks outward instead of inward. It becomes easier to blame the schedule, the refs, the matchups, anything but ourselves. And this is where the fan divide grows. On one side, you have the LeBron defenders who say he's just being honest, that he's not afraid to speak truth about the challenges of the NBA. On the other side, you have critics who say that's exactly the problem. Great leaders don't focus on challenges, they focus on solutions. Jason Kidd doubled down. In the days following his initial comments, reporters kept asking him to clarify. Was he really talking about LeBron? Did he regret the way his words were interpreted? Kidd didn't backtrack. Instead, he expanded on his point. He said, "Look, I have nothing but respect for LeBron's game. He's one of the greatest to ever do it. But greatness isn't just about stats and championships. It's about how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. The players I admired most didn't make excuses. They made everyone around them better by how they handled adversity." He continued, "When you're the face of your team, your words matter. Young players listen, fans listen, and if the message is constantly about external factors, that's what your team starts to believe. But if the message is about looking in the mirror, about getting better, about controlling what you can control, that's a different culture." That's a winning culture. This wasn't just a critique of LeBron, it was a masterclass on leadership philosophy, and it resonated. Former players started chiming in on social media. Some agreed with Kidd, others felt he was being too harsh, but the conversation was happening, and it was impossible to ignore. One analyst broke it down this way. Jason Kidd is essentially saying that LeBron's legacy isn't just about what he does on the court, it's about the example he sets off it. And if that example is one of deflection rather than accountability, it changes how we remember him. Think about that for a second. LeBron James is chasing history. He's already passed Kareem in all-time scoring. He's a 4-time champion. He's a global icon. But if the narrative becomes LeBron was great, but he always had an excuse, that's a stain on an otherwise untouchable legacy. And here's the kicker. Kidd isn't just some hater. He's not trying to tear LeBron down for clicks. He's a contemporary, someone who's been in the trenches, who knows what it takes to lead. If anything, his words feel like a challenge, a call for LeBron to be better, to rise above the noise, to own every moment like the legend he claims to be. Within 24 hours of Kidd's comments going public, the internet became a battlefield. Twitter was absolute chaos. Instagram comment sections turned into war zones. Reddit threads stretched for hundreds of replies. Everyone had an opinion, and nobody was holding back. On one side, you had the LeBron defenders. They argued that Kidd was out of line, that LeBron has earned the right to speak his mind after 2 decades of dominance. They pointed to his 4 championships, his incredible longevity, his basketball IQ. LeBron doesn't owe anybody fake humility, one viral tweet read. He's honest about the game, and that's what makes him real. Another popular take, Jason Kidd needs to worry about his own team instead of throwing shade at LeBron. This is just jealousy disguised as criticism. But on the other side, the critics came out swinging just as hard. Finally, someone said it. One tweet with thousands of likes declared, LeBron has been making excuses for years, and we've all been too scared to call it out because he's the king. Well, kings are supposed to lead, not deflect. The memes were relentless. Side-by-side comparisons of LeBron's post-game interviews with quotes from Jordan and Kobe. Video compilations of every excuse LeBron's made over the past 5 years, set to dramatic music. Even casual fans who don't usually engage in basketball discourse were weighing in. Media personalities jumped into the fray too. Some defended LeBron, saying that Kidd's comments were unnecessary and disrespectful. Others praised Kidd for having the courage to say what many people were thinking but wouldn't say publicly. One prominent analyst put it this way, "This isn't about hating LeBron. This is about holding greatness to a higher standard. And if Jason Kidd thinks that standard isn't being met, we should at least consider why." The debate wasn't just about basketball anymore. It became about leadership, accountability, and what we expect from our heroes. Do we want them to be perfect, or do we want them to be honest? Can you be both? And where's the line between explanation and excuse? Let's zoom out for a second. LeBron James is 40 years old and still playing at an elite level. That alone is historic. Most players his age are retired or riding the bench. LeBron's still putting up numbers, still making plays, still commanding double teams. From a pure basketball standpoint, his greatness is undeniable. But legacy isn't just about numbers, it's about narrative. And right now, Jason Kidd's comments have cracked open a narrative that's been quietly building for years. LeBron makes too many excuses. Does this hurt his legacy? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what happens next. If LeBron responds with silence and lets his play do the talking, that could work in his favor. If he claps back at Kidd and turns this into a public feud, it could backfire. If he takes Kidd's words to heart and adjusts his approach, it could actually strengthen his legacy. But here's the reality. Once the conversation starts, it doesn't just go away. People will remember this. When debates about the greatest player of all time come up, someone will bring up the excuses. Someone will mention Jason Kidd's comments. Someone will ask, yeah, but did he own his losses the way Jordan did? And that's the thing about legacy. It's fragile. You can build it over decades, but a few missteps in how you're perceived can change the entire story. Kids' words echo a growing sentiment, even among fans who love LeBron. There's a fatigue setting in, a sense that maybe, just maybe, the king has been given too many passes, that accountability matters, especially when you're at the top. The final question is this: will LeBron respond? And if he does, what will he say? Will he dismiss kids' comments as noise? Will he address the pattern head-on? Or will he double down on his approach and continue to speak his truth, regardless of how it's received? Whatever happens, one thing is clear. Jason Kidd didn't just call out LeBron for fun. He called out a mindset, a culture, a way of leading that he believes isn't good enough. And whether you agree with him or not, you can't deny that the conversation needed to happen. Jason Kidd's call out of LeBron James isn't going away anytime soon. It sparked a debate that cuts to the heart of what we expect from greatness: accountability, leadership, and ownership of every moment, good or bad. LeBron's legacy is still being written, but this chapter is one he'll need to address, whether through his words or his actions. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Is Jason Kidd right? Has LeBron been making too many excuses? Or is he just being honest about the realities of the game? And more importantly, does it even matter if he keeps performing at an elite level? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear where you stand on this. And if you made it this far, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next deep dive into the drama, the controversies, and the stories that define basketball today. Let's keep this conversation going.